Jack, we talk about them days of seeing Messi and Ronaldo's, your Xavi's, your Iniestas, your Neymar's, your Gareth Bale's, we're thinking, football isn't the same. And maybe for us, it'll never be the same. Listen, we love our generations of the 2010s, of the 2000s. We lord about these guys, and
We're old. We're
you're
old now.
getting there, getting there. But Jack, let's talk about the young generation right now. As much as people can say, "Oh, it's not the same anymore," there's some serious talent coming up, Jack. And and we're gonna go into a quick little versus battle, looking at two players right now, two players who are around the same age and are going to be competing in the same league soon. That is Endrick of Las Palmas
Uh,
right now.
Palmeiras.
Sorry, Palmeiras right now, but will be joining Real Madrid in the summer. And Barcelona's Lamine Yamal, who is absolutely killing it right now. I think he's made his debut last season, Jack, at 15, and this year has just been
Nuts.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's just been crazy how good he is. But Jack, who's the better player, and who would you rather have in your team? One of them is 17, the other one is 16. Who are you going for? Who is going to be the bigger talent? Let me know.
So I'm looking at a couple of things, and first of all, a couple of disclaimers, and I think James is going to agree with me. So I'd like if James can interrupt me if he disagrees, but I think speaking on behalf of me and James, um, guys, bodies change. If you're 16, if you're 17, you still got a hell of a lot of growing to do and a hell of a lot of filling out to do. I'll always remember kind of a famous academy story from Manchester United where Scott McTominay left one season for the under 18 team at 5 foot, I believe he was 5'6", and then he came back for preseason the next season and he was like 6'2", and the coaches went, what the hell are we supposed to do with you? He went from a winger to a central midfielder in one off season. So my point being, we can look at Endrick and we can look at Lamine Yamal, but their bodies can change unbelievably in a very, very short period of time. And we could be looking at totally, totally different players. Another thing, playing in the Brazilian league, we know you can get a Neymar, you can get a Vinicius Junior, you can get these all-star, super talented players, but you can also get some players who don't make it, who have a lot of hype, who have a lot of build-up, right? And I think that's worth saying. We are seeing Lamine Yamal currently play Champions League football, play La Liga football, and be a game changer at 16 years of age. We've seen coaches, directors, any sort of executive in terms of the movement of players between squads play La Liga football when he was 15 years old. Again, we know the phrase: if you're if you're good enough,
Mhm.
you're old enough, right? And if that happens to you when you're 15, good for you. I'm going to take Lamine Yamal. To me, he's got a better frame. I don't think winger will be his final position. I do think he'll end up playing this kind of, I know it's kind of a new modern 8-10 hybrid kind of role, but he can still dribble and he can still travel with the ball. So I still think he can operate as a winger as well. But for me, James, it's talent off both feet. It's beating somebody left. It's also beating somebody right. So you have to keep a defender honest. We can't get a fullback or a centre back or whatever go, I know which side you want to go on, so I'm going to adjust my body and I'm going to nullify your threat when you do this. When you come to shoot, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Lamine Yamal has that ability to be able to go both ways, which is seriously lacking from wide positions in modern day football from the top level wingers in our game, for most of them. Endrick has that kind of ill-defined quality of just explosion over short areas. That's what gets him a half yard. That's what gets him that quick backlift when he's shooting to just finish the corner low and along the ground. I still need to see more from Endrick. It's not going to surprise me if he surpasses what Lamine Yamal might do, but I'm currently going for the safer bet for the guy who's done it. And James, for the guy who over the next 10, 15 years is in a great position to be a starting player for a top level caliber Champions League level team. Endrick is entering arguably the most competitive squad situation that world football has to offer. And with the players they currently have, he might struggle for minutes. We may not see what happens. James, I'll give you a great example. Martin Odegaard. we've seen him come good, but
Yeah,
it wasn't at Real Madrid as a teenager.
yeah.
He had to bounce around and he had to earn his stripes elsewhere. I wonder if we see something similar for Endrick, like maybe Kubo, that kind of thing.
Jack, I feel like one thing is massive. Yeah, I think for Lamine Yamal also is to stay fit because we've seen what happened with Ansu Fati. You know, incredible talent and see where he's at right now. Brian, and will he ever be that player that we thought he was going to be? That's massive for Lamine Yamal. Stay fit. I'm just going to touch on Endrick first. He's joining Real Madrid in the summer. I don't think he's going to play that much first team football, Jack. I feel
Right.
like we're gonna see what Real Madrid did with Martin Odegaard, with also Vinny, where he's in the 21s or so, and Jackie might make a debut in the parents here and there, and probably the season after. Then, like in the season after, then like we kind of look at him playing. You mentioned how competitive it is. Barca less competitive than Real Madrid. Real Madrid right now, Jack, is stupid. The level, in fact, then players Mbappe is going to come in. It makes it a little bit harder for Endrick overall going forward. But Jack, you mentioned the talent there. You know, to do whatever, to do what he's been able to do at his age, and Jack to win what he's able to win in the Brazilian league and be as dominant as he's been able to be is so impressive. Is he on the level of a Neymar? Probably not. I think Neymar, especially at that time, was just on a different level. But I look at what he has, Jack, and especially there isn't too many strikers out there right now, and he wants to be a number nine. It's great. Scoring at Wembley, scoring at the Bernabeu. That only tells you that this boy has the X factor, Jack, to go
Ready.
ready, going forward to be great. And ultimately, he will be great. And he's probably maybe thinking, is that World Cup in a couple years' time in America? Is that one for me? Maybe not. The one after,
I re
then can
Yeah.
I think about it? Can I make that impact? But in my opinion, this whole debate is a non-debate right now because one guy right now is playing a European football. Jack, he is spearheading one of the biggest teams in the world. Granted, it's not as talented as what it used to be, but what Lamine Lamar is doing right now, Jack, is scary. He might
Yeah.
be the best 16-year-old we've ever seen. Jack,
He yeah, yeah,
And Jack, I don't say that lightly because he turned 16 in preseason, Jack. So
right.
he's gonna have a full season, Jack. Jack, he turns what? He turns 17 in July. Yeah, so he's had a full season. Not, the way how like people talk about 16-year-old, but they're only 16 for a couple months or so. When Wayne
Right.
Rooney scored that goal, he was turning 17. Yeah.
Right.
Lamine Mars had a full year of being a 16-year-old at first team level, Jack. He's touching close to 40 games, Jack. Yeah,
Well, and
and doing what
James,
he's able to do is crazy,
and
absolute
again,
crazy.
the body composition thing, again, I know I mentioned it, but I'll just give you a bit about it. So Lamine Yamal's 5'10", right? At 16. That's pretty tall. That's taller than I
Uh,
am, right?
uh,
Not by a lot, but it's a half an inch taller than me, right? You can tell I'm bitter about being 5'9" and a half. Um, Endrick is 5'7", 5'8", right? We don't know what's going to happen with him. Lamine Yamal has the skill set. If he gets a few inches taller, which he almost certainly will, and hits that kind of 6 foot range, very difficult to get wingers of that height, right? It just most of the time they're 5'7", 5'8", Endrick's kind of size, and they're able, short area quickness and all that stuff. Lamine Yamal will easily be able to transfer his skills into that kind of number 8, 10 kind of role if he wants to, if he gets a little taller and fills out. Endrick, we need to see what happens, but he seems like a front three player out and out. I think Lamine Yamal has more versatility and more of a skill set to do other things, but it makes a huge difference. I cannot tell you how much of a big difference it makes for a younger player with their development. But I
no,
think for you and me, is it pretty convincingly
I
Lamine
Jack.
Yamal?
As much
Because
I
it's
think
kind of
Endrick has had the bigger build up, with the
right,
pictures and Jack the lookalike to Pele and all that. Jack, even the way he carries himself as a 16-year-old, Jack, is quite decent.
yeah,
Really, actually, now he's actually 17 right now. Is really, really decent. People are gonna look at him thinking, people. I see a lot of people saying interest like industry plant, but let's see. Brazil produced these sort of talents all the time, and we've heard about him for the past 2 years right now. So I'm excited to see him, but how can I compare him to a guy who's playing at European football at the age of 15? He made his debut in 16, Jack, a whole calendar year of 16, playing first team level against grown men and Jack doing grown men dirty. Jack, in that Brazil game, I think he completed 11 dribbles by himself.
yeah,
Like the boy is special. Off both feet, Jack can go both ways. Jack can shoot both ways. Like the more he grows, we don't know what he's gonna be. I don't want to bring him up to the Messi levels because
of
I think
course,
that's difficult. The only issue for him long term is that with everything going up on his shoulders and Barcelona putting a lot of weight on him. We've seen what it's like with players like Pedri. We've seen what it's like players like Gabby. Players get injured all the time. That's my only issue with him. But if he can get it right, Jack, we're looking at a scary proposition for the next 10, 15 years, honestly. How are
And
you going to
also
stop him?
with Lamine Yamal, have we seen a winger like Lamine Yamal for
Uh,
Spain before?
for okay, for Spain, no, because
Like,
if you're going to talk about size, Jack, Rafael Leao is similar build, big. Listen, big guy, and I do believe like Lamine Yamal will fill out too, like he will fill out at a point. But if he gets around 6'2", and he fills out, ooh, that's
I
going to be
look at
difficult to
like
play against.
I look at like a Navas, like
Pedro,
a Pedro, and I'm kind of like, he's not. It's not that like at all.
no,
Reyes, it's like
Jackie,
not really. There's kind of a. It's like it's kind of new for them and kind of exciting for Spain. I wonder if it's going to impact the way Spain play going forward. And good, James, Euros are coming up. I mean,
he will
that
play. He
guy's
will play,
got to be
Jack. And
starting.
and also I think the Olympics is apparently like he's on the Olympic team too, so he's gonna play too. Listen, I don't know how it's gonna go with that. And let's see, Endrick is probably gonna be in the Olympic team too. The two players who are gonna be in the same league and probably doing different stuff, but what a
And we
battle
love
this
them
is gonna
both.
be. Listen,
And we love them both.
want them both to be successful, and maybe a
Of
Ballon
course.
d'Or for both of them would be absolutely
100%.
incredible, But let's see where they both go. But guys, who are you picking? Endrick, Lamine Yamal? Comment down below. Let us know. This is Buck to Buck Football, Jack and James, and we'll see you guys next time.